What is up, everybody? We are here with another installment of the Offside Show. We got Jim in the building. What's up, Jim?
Yo, what's up? It's been a while. I haven't been feeling too good, but now I'm ready to talk some Red Wings hockey today.
All right, we got Seth in the building. What's up, man?
Thank you for welcoming me into the virtual building. Glad to be here to talk some Red Wings hockey, and I'm very excited to share about a very interesting, intriguing what-if scenario from 1988 coming later.
All right. Actually, I think we're going to – are you okay with actually starting off with that, Seth?
If you like.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with it. We got Blue and Silver Phantom in the building.
What's up?
Blue and Silver Phantom. All right. So yeah, let's jump into this. What if Wayne Gretzky was to the Red Wings instead of the Kings? Who would have gone to Edmonton? When would the Red Wings have ended their cup drought? All right, Seth, you want to start things off really quickly?
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'll try to be as quick as I can. Let me set the scene. 1988, the Red Wings had just reached the Canberra Conference Finals for the second straight year, coming off their best season in years. They were starting to build a pretty good team. They had Eiserman with his first 50-goal season. They also had Klima, who had a few 30-goal seasons, Peter Klima, as well as Gerard Gallant, who had become a 30-goal scorer and scrappy guy who was in the penalty box quite a bit. Probert was actually coming off a career year as well with 29 goals and 62 points. So going back, when Gretzky was traded, there are two teams that he was interested in going to, the Kings and the Red Wings. Of course, he ultimately chose the Kings, realizing the opportunity they had to go to Hollywood, help his wife's acting career, which really didn't go anywhere, and basically immerse himself into pop culture and help grow the sport of hockey in California. But he was a Red Wings fan from a kid. Gordie Howe was his favorite player, and his father, Walter, would have been much closer to, he wouldn't have had to travel nearly as far to watch his son play. So realistically, though, who do you think you guys would have had to trade to get Gretzky? Would it have been Steve Eiserman or Bob Probert or Peter Klima? Because in the actual trade, the Kings had to give up Jimmy Carson, who was a guy who at the time was coming off a 55-goal season, believe it or not. Yes, we know his career went into the crapper later on after that, but this was a guy who at the time had potential, and he lost his confidence after he went to Edmonton because all the Oiler fans were upset because this was the main guy they traded Gretzky for. He had a good season in Edmonton, but he lost his confidence after that to where he didn't want to play there anymore. He got traded to the Red Wings, and his career was just never the same after that. The Kings also gave up Martin Gelinas, and I believe also a draft pick along with $15 million in cash. And enforcer Marty McSorley also ended up going with Gretzky, as did Mike Krushelnetsky. So I would invite you guys to look into your crystal balls a little bit and speculate as to who the Red Wings would have had to give up to get Gretzky, how would this have affected them, would they have won the Cup sooner, later, or if they would still be in their drought now. So go ahead, guys.
All right, Jim, you want to take this one first?
Oh, I shouldn't, because my crystal balls are blue. But anyway, I'm sorry, I had to do it. No, this is crazy to me because the only guy I can see that the Edmonton Oilers would have wanted is Steve Eiserman, and Steve Eiserman was 22 years old at the time. This is basically the reason the Red Wings have turned their franchise around. He had scored 50 goals. He had 102 points. Do I give up a 22-year-old Steve Eiserman for Wayne Gretzky? At the time, You know what? Maybe I do. Hindsight? Hell no. And there's other people on this list. I mean, Murphy at 20 years old. I mean, you got a lot. See, I would have traded Jim Nill and have him been their general manager at 29 years old, but it's not his role at this point. Adam Oates is only 25 years old. He's a centerman. If they were interested in him and maybe a package of other players, I might have done it. But if you're Edmonton and you're giving up your best centerman, and one of the best players of all time, you got to get Steve Eiserman, and I don't know that I do that.
All right. Do you have anything else to add, or can I go ahead and take this?
Go ahead. I got nothing else to add.
I'm not going to be extremely long on this. So this is according to Hockey Reference. So there's a name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce, but so this is what it says under the transaction page on hockeyreference.com. Traded to Los Angeles by Edmonton with Mike
Krashelnyski.
Yeah, Mike Krashelnyski and Marty McSorley for Jimmy Carson, Martin Galinas.
Jeleno.
Yeah, he was French. He was French Canadian, I believe.
All right. Yeah. Oh, and then also Los Angeles first round choices in 1989, 1991, and 1993, and cash. So
$15 million.
Yeah, so dude, Los Angeles, they gave up. They gave up the house to get Wayne Gretzky. They gave up the farm. They gave up their kids. They gave up their baby. They gave up their car. Whatever you want to name it. They gave up a lot to get. Sorry about that, but they gave up a lot to get Gretzky. So, what do I mean? Yeah, I agree with Jim. In hindsight, is 2020, and no way would I have done this if it was in hindsight. In all honesty, but it's tricky. There's a part of me, I'm 50-50 on this. Half of me believes it would have ended the cup drought sooner, but the other half tells me our cup drought would still be going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Eiserman was just a Red Wing. He's the embodiment of being a Red Wing, if that makes any sense. So based on that trade that happened, what do I believe the Red Wings would have had to give up? I mean, I came up with two scenarios. I think we maybe give up Eiserman, Gallant, and or 2 first-round picks, or you give up Gallant, Chason, Oates, and then 3 first-round picks. Ooh, man. I don't think I would have done it, but would it have ended the cup drought sooner or later? That one's tricky for me. Like I said, I'm 50-50 because half of me tells me it would cause the cup drought to keep going. I still think we probably could have gotten all Fedorov and all that stuff since they were picked in the later rounds. But man, that's a tricky one. But at the same time, Eiserman, he fit everything for the Red Wings. I don't know if I'd want to tinker with that too much. I mean, it worked out, and we won our Stanley Cups, and obviously we didn't trade for Gretzky. And honestly, I'm kind of glad we didn't. I'm leaning more towards our cup drought would still be going because Eiserman just fit too well with it. But I mean, at that time, the Red Wings were known for being chokers in the playoffs, losing to the third year of existence, San Jose Sharks. I don't know if y'all remember that, but we lost to the third year of existence San Jose Sharks. So, I mean, at the time, it might have been easy to trade Eiserman or something like that. But at the same time, I'm glad they didn't trade him, and I'm glad everything turned out the way it did. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Actually, you kind of touched on what would have been my next question. Because just a year later, the Red Wings end up having that great draft where they get Fedorov, Lidstrom, and Konstantinov. Does that draft still happen if this trade happens?
No, because we probably would have thrown in some draft picks, I think.
Well, the reason, the part of it, but at the same, we would have thrown in, probably a bunch of firsts, though, and our Russian players were picked well after the first round. So
yeah, that's true, too. That's true.
honestly, I still think we probably would have gotten. Well, I don't know, because you want to build around Gretzky. Would Fedorov fit? I mean, I don't know. Would Fedorov fit?
Would we be trading draft picks for veterans too?
Yeah, and then
because
there's that.
Of the fact that Gretzky, because of the fact that Gretzky was a little bit along in years at that time, we would be looking to win now rather than building for the future. So I think our whole perspective would have changed. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, and even You Can Call Me Funk says, don't forget about Dallas Drake.
Right, Dallas Drake. I remember him.
Yeah, sixth round, wasn't he, in '89? Yeah, I think sixth round.
Yeah.
He had one of the coolest names. He had one of the coolest names for hockey players, in my opinion. Dallas Drake. Just sounded so cool.
Did. But to me, I think you're changing the entire dynamic of your team because Eiserman's 22 at the time. You're building with some other young players around him, and it looks like you're going to be building for a little bit longer of a term. If you get Gretzky, your window of opportunity of winning a championship is closed tremendously, because or it's dwindled down because now you have an older player instead of a 22-year-old leading your team. And you're going to have to build that win now mentality. So Detroit probably would have coupled some draft picks and traded for some veterans to go along with Gretzky to be able to, win now instead of winning, taking the draft picks, being patient and winning later.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm glad this trade. I mean, yeah, of course, hindsight's 2020, and I'm glad this trade never happened. But it's certainly an interesting thing to talk about. It's absolutely
it is
to talk about how drastically different the hockey world could have been had this all happened. No, but does anyone else have anything to add? Or
nope, I'm good on this. I think now
I'm good.
All right, cool. So we're just gonna do this one really, really quickly. I don't think this will take very long, but on a scale of 1 to 10. How much of a chance do you think Jeff Blashill has to prove all of us wrong? Because I don't think any of us are the highest on Blashill, but Jim will start the shoe because I think I know your answer.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I think it's 0. Seriously, I do. I don't think he has any chance whatsoever. Like I said, I think he's a placeholder. I think I've said that all along. And I think he could turn the team around, but I don't even think we have a team to turn around yet.
All right, Seth.
When you say prove us wrong, are you talking about him lasting through the season or getting the wings back to the playoffs? Or
yeah, I'm talking like be the guy that gives us a chance to prove us wrong, like take us back to the playoffs or take us to a Stanley Cup, or maybe not, I don't even know if it's Stanley Cup. Like the guy to take us to a playoff.
Stanley Cup one. He won't be around by then. Eiserman will have picked another guy to take them to the cup. Playoffs, I would say 4.
All right, cool. Yeah, see, my answer, it's not based on any form of logic. It's strictly an emotional choice. I'll just put it out there. It's not based on what my eyes tell me. It's just strictly an emotional choice. But I have him at a 3. I have a 3 to a 4. Roughly for him to prove us wrong. I don't know. I see myself trash people. I see myself trash certain people all the time and blah, blah, blah. And then they end up proving me wrong. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, this is strictly an emotional choice, but I think we're mostly kind of on the same page with that. But yeah, I think we can go ahead. So since none of us seem to really give us none of us really seem to have over 5 to give him a chance to prove us wrong. So speaking of head coaches, would you ever consider bringing Mike Babcock back if you were Steve Eiserman? And if not, are there any other head coaches that you would be interested in bringing in? Jim, you want to start us off?
Sure. Let's see. No, Babcock on Babcock. No. Absolutely not. I don't like him as a coach for the team that we're going to have. Possible replacements. I have a few. I'm just going to say Gerard Gallant, I think could be. He was the head coach of the Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, whatever they want to be called. And I like him. I think he's former Red Wing, and I think that could be a good situation. He took a pretty average team and made them pretty good. So I'm thinking he could do the job. I don't want to take all of them, so I think I'll just leave it at that right now. But I wanted to comment on the last one. The only way that the current head coach Blashill takes us to the Stanley Cup is if he's driving a bus.
You're savage. You're just being savage right now. Oh, you can go with Funk. He says he gives him a 4 to 6. Yeah, I ain't mad at it, dude.
I'm not either, but I just don't think there's any hope. I think Steve Eiserman came here with an idea and a plan and an outline. I think that's how he got the job. I think he showed other people what his plan was in his outline. You've got to come into a place with a plan, and I believe that's what happened. I don't think Jeff Blashill is in his plan long term.
Yeah, for sure. So your answers were you would not bring Babcock back, and you want to see Gallant possibly come the coach.
Yep.
All right, cool. Seth, would you ever consider bringing Mike Babcock back if you were Steve Eiserman? And if not, are there any other head coaches you would be interested in bringing in?
Well, Babcock has too much of a bad rep now. The secret's out about him being a guy that players don't want to play for. I don't want to say like Mike Keenan, but very similar in that regard. Then again, Scotty Bowman was known for being abrasive, but he got results too. But for where the team is right now, no, definitely not. And as far as who Eiserman should bring in, I do agree with Gallant a lot. It does seem that he's able to get the most out of players, regardless of what the talent level is, and players play for him. Another guy that I read about that Eiserman would be interested in, another former teammate, was Laney Lambert. I don't know a whole lot about him in terms of his coaching experience, but maybe he would be a good choice to kind of help develop the team. Maybe not get, when they're cup contenders, but maybe help get them to that level to where they are on the verge of becoming cup contenders, kind of like Jacques Demers in the Jacques Demers during the late 80s.
All right, cool. So would I consider bringing, honestly, I'm not saying I would bring him back, but I would. Jim, you want to talk about Dan?
Oh, wait, no, I was gonna let you go, then I'll do it. But I can. Because I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was just like, I wanted to talk to him about after you did, but I'll go ahead and do that. Another coach I considered, because he coached here in Muskegon, so I got a little bit of taste of him here, Dan Bylesman, and he went on to coach the Pittsburgh Penguins, which was our number one farm team, or we were the number one farm team to them. And so he went and coached the Pittsburgh Penguins and brought him a Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, that was against us. But Dan Bylesman is on the staff, as far as I know. The last I knew, he was coach of the power play and the forwards. He was brought in here to try to help develop some of those players, and he would be already in-house to take over.
All right.
To be honest, I hear you, Jim. But it's one of those funny things called a gut feeling. For some reason, I'm going to quote Tony Shalhoub from the one guest appearance he made on Frasier as part of a focus group listening to the show. I just don't like him. I don't like him. I just don't like him. I can't really put my finger why, but I just can't get, he just doesn't jive with me for some reason. So I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't be the solution that people think. Like when everyone wanted the Lions to hire Ken Wisenhunt, but I wasn't feeling that at all, because I felt like if you take out the 1 year, everyone talked about how he guided the Cardinals to the Super Bowl. But if you take out that 1 year, he didn't do too hot in Arizona. So I felt like that was more because of Kurt Warner, cornerback, than Wisenhunt. And then he went to Tennessee, and he didn't do all that hot. So I felt like the Lions almost dodged a bullet by not being able to hire him.
Yeah, he's from Muskegon. That's why I have a little bit of more. He's from my hometown, so that's probably why I have a little bit of a more faith in him than maybe some do. I don't know, but it's something that he's right in house. He knows the systems already. He knows the players already. So it was just something for me that might be a natural progression, and he does have a Stanley Cup.
All right. So as far as bringing Mike Babcock back, I mean, in all honesty, this might be an unpopular opinion. Like, I'm not saying I would bring him back, but I think he should be on the radar at the very least, if that makes any sense. But I feel like he got an unnecessary bad rap in Toronto. Like, I don't follow Toronto media all that much, but when you're not doing good, like you're not taking them to where you're supposed to be, it feels like the media just compiles everything they humanly can onto you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they find every little bad thing that they can find on you and just shove it down everybody's throat and then make everybody turn on you and hate you. Like, I wasn't there in the locker rooms. I've seen players rip on Babcock. So, I mean, but I don't know. I feel like he got an unnecessary bad rap. But with all that said, the coach that I probably want the most is Peter Laviolette if he's still available by the time.
It's a good choice.
I want to go over him real fast. He coached 3 different franchises to a Stanley Cup Finals appearance, winning one with the Hurricanes. The other 2 he coached to a Finals appearance were the Flyers and the Predators. He coached for 4 franchises. The other franchise was the Islanders. He did not coach them to a Stanley Cup Finals, but he only coached there for 2 seasons. And for God's sake, it was the Mike Milbury GM'd Islanders. And even with that gutter trash going on, with all that garbage that was going on, he turned an Islanders team from a 21-51, 7-3 team to a 42-28, 8-4 team in one season. And I'm sure you all know that Mike Milbury was not all that great. He is like the Matt Millen of NHL GMs pretty much. But even with all that garbage that was going on, he still made the Islanders respectable. And that's a pretty solid track record. 3 different franchises to a Stanley Cup Finals appearance. I think that's kind of hard to argue against it. But does anyone else have anything to add? Or I do like Gallant as a choice, actually. Like, he's on my list too.
I just don't like Babcock, and I think that he wore his welcome out here in Detroit, and I don't know. I just don't like him. It's just my personal. It's just kind of like Seth said. I just don't like him.
No, I feel you there. No, I do feel you there. But does anyone else have anything to add? Is there any other coaches?
What do you guys think of Barry Trotz?
I
like Barry.
Ooh, is he still going to be under contract? I want to say he's coaching the Islanders right now, right? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think so.
Yeah, he was the one that coached the Capitals to a Stanley Cup Finals and won a Stanley Cup Final.
And he was with the Preds forever before that.
All right, so I think we are thinking of the same guy, but that's a good choice. I ain't gonna fight that one.
I like that one actually.
Is he going to be under contract? Isn't he going to be under contract with?
Yeah, he might be for a few years, but we don't have to worry about that because we still have the placeholder.
Yeah, that is a good point. I like that choice. Does anyone else have any other coaches they want to go over? Or
no, I think I'm good on that.
All right.
Unless anybody in the chat has a coach they'd like us to go over or something.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll go ahead and go to the next one, honestly. An article from the Detroit Free Press suggested that we offer Seattle some form of compensation to protect our players. Do you agree with the article? So this is like a general gist of it. This isn't the entire article, but basically one of the things that they were offering was saying, hey, Seattle, we'll give you a draft pick if you take Nielsen from us. We're going to expose Nielsen. If you take him, we'll give you a draft pick. Something along those lines. The article did not necessarily agree with itself. Like the writer said, this probably wouldn't be the best idea, but I don't know. I guess what would you guys think? Do you guys agree with the article? Do you want to do something different? I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to get at. But Seth, let's start off with you. You got a chance to read the article? What did you think about it? And do you agree with it? I guess.
Absolutely no draft picks whatsoever. No draft picks, no prospects. Hell no. The only way I would do it is if you're saying we'll give you Abdelkader if you take Nielsen, or the other way around. That's the only way I would do it. Some old aging veteran player. No draft picks, no prospects. But that's probably not going to happen, so no deal.
I think we're going to most be on the same page here, but Jim, what do you think about this?
Absolutely not. This is the dumbest idea I think I've heard in a long time. Let's just ship them off a first-round draft pick because we're going to be crappy anyway this year. So they go and select one of the players that we could leave unprotected anyway. That's brilliant. That's a Lions move, really. I mean, this is ridiculous. No way in hell. I just leave the players unprotected that we want to get rid of.
Yeah, I think
sounds difficult and all, but call me stupid.
No, I think I agree with all you guys. But I think one thing that we're not I don't think we're in desperate need to shed these contracts anyway.
No, we're not.
Surprisingly, believe it or not, the Red Wings are in surprisingly good shape with the cap, even with the bad contracts.
And they'll be in even better shape when these players start to develop and come up to the Red Wings and take those spots.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, I don't think there's any need to give Seattle pretty much anything right now.
We just give them the finger. All I'm ready to give up.
Well, I'm not going to give them the finger, dude. I'm going to go a 10. When Seattle gets going, you bet I'm.
Oh yeah, I love the team and the concept and everything. I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
There was a team, I got to say this, it's a memory, but I got to say it. So there was a team in the, I can't remember if it was UHL or something like that, because they were called the Danbury Trashers. And they had a little guy in the trash can, and it was almost like the Muppet character or whatever kind of. And their bus was saying always talking trash, and their whole team was a bunch of thugs and stuff. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Best marketing job ever. I thought it was so funny. Sorry, I just had to say that little tidbit.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
It turns out they were owned by the mafia and got shut down because they all got thrown in jail.
What in the world?
Yeah, for real. I'm not kidding. Look it up. It's the Danbury Trashers. They're a team out of New York, and they were owned by this trash company that was a cover for the mob.
All right.
That's even more bizarre than with the Flint Firebirds, with the owner firing the head coach because he wasn't playing his son enough, Oh,
I remember that. That was stupid too. Man, there's some funny things in this. Yeah, there was a team in Georgia, right? And then they were out of Macon, Georgia. Do you know what they were called? Anybody know this name?
Macon Bacon?
The Macon Whoopee. And that is an actual team that played. I am not kidding you. That's an actual team that played in minor pro hockey.
Yeah, that's interesting to say the least.
I just had to bring a couple things up. Just
for sure. No, for sure. It's good. It's good. All right, we'll go ahead and go on to this one. I don't think this question is going to take all that long, but let's talk about it a little bit. So nothing Eiserman has done so far has really been that earth-shattering. Nothing he's done has really moved the needle all that much. Not that that's a bad thing, but because we're in year one and he's not rushing too hard.
No, he's Canadian.
Hard. But wait, what?
You said he's not Russian. I go, no, he's Canadian.
Oh. Totally. Yeah, dude. I can't believe. Good one, Jim. Good one. No, okay.
Walked into that one.
Yep. All right. Well, I need to come up. Okay, let's think of a better word. So, Oh, I'll just say this then. So Eiserman, he hasn't made anything that's really all that earth-shattering right now. Hasn't really done anything that moves the needle all that much.
Wow.
But of the moves, okay then. Well, but of the moves Eiserman has made so far, what is your favorite move that he's done so far? Be it a draft pick, a trade, pretty much anything. What's your favorite move Eiserman's made so far?
Me first. Okay, I like the Fabry deal. I like the NHL draft of last year. I think I don't know if we're going to go. I think we're going through that later, right? So I don't want to go through it now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can say a little bit about it.
No, it's fine. Mort Seider, the first round pick, looks amazing in Grand Rapids. There's just a lot of players that he selected. Even the last pick in the draft, which was a goaltender, he was goaltender of the year last year in his league. I'm like, really? These picks are decent picks. Some of them aren't panning out that well, but most of them are doing really well. So I think that he has moved the needle quite a bit for the future of the defense for the Detroit Red Wings, and the future going forward, I think looks really, really good.
All right, for sure. Seth, what's your favorite move that Eiserman has made so far? Be it a draft pick, a trade, free agent signing. What's your favorite move Eiserman's made so far?
Well, I have to make the Fabry trade gets honorable mention because we ended up getting a guy who basically just needed a change of scenery. Former first-round pick. He ended up doing quite well, and all we had to give up for him was Jacob De La Rose. So I feel like that was a hell of a steal. And, and that made up for the Perlini trade, which really did nothing for us, I felt like. Didn't hurt us, but it did nothing. But
go ahead.
But my favorite move would definitely be with the selection of Seider in the first round. I wasn't expecting the move at first, but then as soon as I saw footage of him, at the draft party, I liked what I saw. I saw him as being that smart, intelligent, two-way defenseman who could, be able to do well both ends of the ice. Not exactly the same as Lidstrom in terms of play style, but being able to have the same type of skill on both ends of the ice as a two-way defenseman. So, great move. Great selection.
All right.
I like that you can call me funky. He said that he came back home. Best move ever. I love that statement because it is the best move he's made, is to come back here and turn this crap dead things around. Yep,
pretty much. No, yeah, I'm pretty much going to say my favorite move. I have a different favorite move that I don't think is getting enough credit right now. We traded. I liked the trading Athanasiou and Kuffner for a 2020 second and a 2021 second. And drafting Seider was also a great move. But, getting draft picks, it's hard to argue against getting draft picks right now. And Athanasiou wasn't really producing all that much for us by the time we traded him. So that also adds to it. The Fabry trade was also a good one. We, at least at the immediate moment, we have won that trade by a mile. So that's also one that I want to go over. But now let's go to the flip side of this topic. What is your least favorite move that Eiserman has done so far? Seth, I think you kind of alluded to one. So let's start with you.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned this already, the Perlini trade, just because I had to pick one. That's the only move that really comes to mind in terms of bad move, least favorite move. I'm not going to knock the Filppula signing because I didn't expect him to have the type of impact as his first stint anyway. He was just basically a veteran guy who's familiar with Eiserman and with the Red Wings, who is basically just a placeholder to help mentor the younger players. So it's Perlini.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. There's not that many extremely noble moves, but I think that's definitely my least favorite move so far because I don't like the idea of giving up. I know it was a fourth round. Oh, you're talking about Perlini. I'm thinking of a different trade. We traded a fourth round pick to the Lightning for Adam Ernie.
Yeah, that he struggled here though. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't like that trade, especially since we gave up a draft pick for it. Yeah, I mean, I know it was a 4th-round pick, but I ain't game for giving up draft picks, no matter how high or low right now.
Yeah, it was a 4th-round
Good
pick.
point. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from him anyway, though, because my impression wasn't he like a grinder? So I wasn't really expecting a whole lot from him anyway.
No, he was with him in Tampa Bay, and he was hoping he would do a little bit better. But you know, he's got a physical style to him. He's chippy, but he didn't contribute as much to the Red Wings as we would have liked. But I think mine is the Perlini deal because, you know, the guy we gave up was pretty good. He led the defenseman in goals with 27. He's 60 points in 56 games with London. Tough to top that as a worst thing that he's done. But I mean, he's just trying to trade for talent and see how that works out, and trying to set his team up for success. Even if that person isn't going to get re-signed, you know, maybe that was somebody he wasn't banking on for the future anyway, and it didn't fit his team.
All right, yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, so we can probably go ahead and talk about this this question now. What do you think of the 2019 draft class? Jim, I'm going to start with you because I think you're going to have.
You should start with Seth, because if you start with me, I'm going to detail every single person. So.
Yeah. All right, Seth.
Which will definitely not be me. To be fair, every draft, no matter what league, is a crapshoot to some degree, but the NHL is even more so because, you know, out of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys you draft every year, you hope to be able to get 2 or 3 that make it to the NHL. You're not going to have drafts like 1989 anymore where I think 6 different guys make it. So if you get 2 or 3, that's pretty good. And then even then, it's going to take you at least 3-4 years before you know if the guys that you drafted are really any good. So for me, this is way too soon to be able to judge about the last year's draft. I mean, on paper, these guys all look like good picks that, you know, have potential, but they always look like that when they're first drafted. It's seeing how they translate over to the AHL, and then if they make it to the NHL. Now, Sider I see as a sure thing, but as for all the other guys, it's too early to tell. You just don't know. So it's too early for me to tell.
All right, that's perfectly fair. Jim, let's go to you. You got this, man.
All right. I'm looking at this like he took a lot of defensemen this year. Then some have a huge upside. And we're not talking about most of those people. The guy we keep talking about is Moritz Seider, if you want to be precise. He was a 6th overall. But, I mean, I don't want to go into him. We go into him every single week. So, Antti Tuomisto, I'm hoping I'm getting that name right. He's a right-handed shot defenseman. He played 48 games last year, but he had 15 goals, 34 assists, and 49 points as a defenseman. And that's in a junior league in, I believe that's Sweden. I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting these right. His next pick was a winger, Robert Mastrosimone. Sorry about that. God, these names sometimes. He played 34 games. He only got 7 goals, 10 assists. He only had 17 points. That was Boston University, where he's scheduled to be again next year. And he's actually looking pretty good. Albert Johansson. Now this is a guy he's another defenseman, very, very good player in the Swedish Hockey League, the Super Elite. He played very, very well. It looks like he's going to be a big time defenseman when he comes up. Don't know how long that will be. 42 games. He only had 2 goals, 11 assists, 13 points. But for the Super Elite squad, he had 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points, but he's a really good defenseman. and he's developing a lot quicker than people might expect. So watch out for that name, Albert Johansson, because he could be up fairly soon in the next couple of years, and that guy's a really, really good defenseman. Albin, it's hard for me to pronounce these names, so Grui, he's also in that Swedish Elite League and the Super Elite, but he has not progressed, and he's not doing very well at this point. We'll just have to see how he continues to grow and develop. Ethan Phillips, who was somebody that they drafted as a center, 31 games. He's only had 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points. He's also at Boston University, so playing with one of his other guys. This guy, Cooper Moore, he's going to be really, really good. He's another defenseman. Keep that name in mind. Cooper Moore, 55 games played, 12 goals, 21 assists, 33 points, but he's a very good defenseman. He showed a lot last year in the BCHL last year. So it's the British Columbia, I believe, Hockey League. Eric Soderblom, and I watched him in the there was a game that they had with all of the draft picks and all the rookies and people that came in, and I found him to be really, really solid. He's a 6'6" centerman from Sweden. He had played 36 games, 29 goals, 26 assists for 55 points in the Super Elite. That's a big league for him to show up in, and he might be fast tracked to the NHL sooner than later. Big guy. Handles the puck pretty well. Next guy is another defenseman, Gustav Berglund, and he's another one that's over in Sweden in the Super Elite League, and very good defenseman, and he's trending upward as well. This guy, I'm going to butcher his name, but Kirill, oh my God, how this is terrible. Yavel, something like that. I have no idea. It's Tyutyayev. Say it again.
Twinev, maybe?
Yeah, that's it.
Twinev?
Yep.
That's my best guess.
Huh?
That's my best guess.
Yeah, me too. He's in the MHL right now. He's doing okay. He's actually a sleeper pick by a couple of different news outlets that thought he was going to be really, really good. He had only 2 goals in 6. Oh, he had 2 goals, 6 assists in only 6 games. And then he went to Gornyak VHL, and he scored 3 goals and 17 assists for 20 points in 27 games. So we'll watch for him to come up. The guy I'm highlighting right now is Carter Gylander, and he was plays for Sherwood Park in the AJHL. So this guy played 40 games, so he was their leading goaltender. He had a 2.07 goals against average and a 924 save percentage. This guy is the guy I've been talking about when everybody keeps saying Picard or Pickard or whatever the guy's name is. One's the captain of the Enterprise, and the other one's a goaltender that probably won't make it. But it was Larson, and it's this guy. Sorry, it's Larson and Gylander that I was really looking at, and he, in his first year, he won the best goaltender award in the AJHL. It's a junior league, but still a 924 save percentage and a 2.07 goals against average. We'll be watching Carter Gylander in the next 2-3 years to be something, maybe in Grand Rapids or something like that, and then coming up to Detroit. But that draft class is a lot better than people think it is.
Yeah. Couple things. Jim, you made that Star Trek reference. It's funny you said that because I looked at the name Ethan Phillips, the 4th round pick. He happens to share the same name as the guy who played Neelix in Star Trek Voyager.
That's true.
And then, but on a more serious note, I feel bad because if I actually took the time, if I was able to actually go out and actually see all these guys play in person, I think it would have to be in person, not just watch film, but actually see them play in person. I'd be able to get a more accurate gauge of how each one would be because, looking back, being able to remembering watching college volleyball or high school football, I'm able to look at players and get a good gauge in terms of their potential. Be able to track their trajectory, be able to chart how well they're going to do this this, that, and the other. So, but unfortunately, I can't travel to all these different places right now. So, yeah.
But they had 5 defensemen, okay, in this draft, and 3 or 4 more years, man. I'm telling you, these guys are going to be something else. At least some of them will. I mean, not all of them develop at the same pace, but still, there's a lot of good players in this draft. There really is. And so I think the future is very bright in Detroit. I think Eiserman has done a lot since he's been here. So not moving the needle, I don't agree with that at all. I just don't. Sorry, BD. I can't agree with that one.
I feel you. Well, we'll see in a couple years how much all these things move the needle. Well, I mean, move the needle. Like, we didn't trade for, say, a Patrick Kane or, I guess why I consider moving these,
Why do that now?
Yeah, we wouldn't do that yet.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, if we traded for Sidney Crosby, that's what I consider moving the needle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't want to move the needle right now.
Yeah, I feel you. I
give these guys time to develop, because the superstars that we're going to have coming up is through the draft, and then we can add veteran players that are good players at the end of their career. That's fine. That's what the Red Wings did before, but we need to let these people grow, and we need to let these people, these players develop, and we need to give them some time to do that. I mean, Eiserman has another 10-pick draft this year, so that's 21 players he's going to have drafted in 2 years.
Trading for Crosby, what you're asking PD Sports, that's going off the freaking Richter scale from what you're asking.
No, I'm not saying we should trade for Crosby. I'm saying we should do any of these. I'm saying that's what I would consider a thing that hardcore moves the needle.
But the difference with me is because we had no direction before. We're spiraling out of control with players that are on contracts that are ridiculous, and players that we're drafting that aren't panning out, and when we're spinning out of control. And Eiserman's come in, he's kind of righted the ship. He's got a very good first draft, and I see a direction. I kind of see what he's doing. I know the type of player he's looking for. And so I see a direction, and that, if anything, is what's going to move the needle forward.
Me too. He's looking for the same type of players he played with in his playing career, and the same type that he acquired in Tampa Bay. Good, intelligent, multi-dimensional players.
Strong skaters. That's been a key. That's been something he's been looking for throughout that draft. I went and did some research on that, on what type of players is he going after, and it's the players that are very good on their skates. In fact, it's the proficiency of most of the draft picks. Not all of them. I mean, the real big guy, that 6'6" guy, isn't great on his skates, but most people that Eiserman's drafting and trying to acquire are strong skaters. And so we'll look for that. We're looking for a little bit of a toughness to that person. We're looking for someone that's very good with the puck. That's another thing he's looking for. I know this sounds cliche, but it's a pattern in most of the players that he drafts.
All right. I like it. No, like I said, I ain't mad at anybody's take. No, I agree. I would not trade for Crosby at this moment. I think we should let our players develop at the rates, at whatever they find the necessary rate. We don't need to rush any of this. We're good. We got spoiled for a long time with all the winning that we had. We can wait for a second longer. I ain't mad at letting Eiserman run his operation. But yeah, let's go on to this next one. Now, this might sound like an oddball question, but I want to talk about this real fast. So this is a big if. Do not get me twisted. This is a gigantic if. If the Red Wings make the playoffs this year, would you consider it a good thing or a bad thing? Now, how would you consider it a bad thing? I mean, a bad thing is in you're afraid that we're just going to be stuck as the 8, 7, or 6 seed forever or something like that and never progress. But that's what I mean by that. But Seth, we'll start with you. If the Red Wings were to make the playoffs this year, would you consider it a good thing or a bad thing?
Okay, realistically, that's not going to happen. But if they did, it would depend on a lot of factors. Has Larkin taken that next step in being, the player that the Wings need to be? Is Mantha become more consistent as a 30, 40 goal scorer? Has Zadina taken that next step, proven that he belongs in the NHL level and can be an impact player, at least a 30 goal scorer? How's Svechnikov doing? Does Seider make a smooth transition to the NHL and challenge for the Calder Trophy right away? So if all of these players are developing ahead of schedule, then yes, it's a good thing. You can keep building, and Eiserman can find some hidden gems in late rounds, and maybe it'll be a good thing. But only if all of those things happen.
I could not have worded it any better than you just worded it, Seth. Jim, what do you think about this? Would you consider it a good thing? And like I said, this is a gigantic if, and I think we are all on the same page that it's got a basically 99%, a basically 100% chance of not happening, but there's always a chance, right? But if the Red Wings were to make the playoffs this year, would you consider it a good thing or a bad thing?
You always got to consider making the playoffs a good thing because your players are developing, things are going well. Do I think this is going to happen? Hell no. Everybody, I'm preaching patience. This is probably not going to happen for another 2 years, possibly 3. But if it does happen, that means the players are developing. Things are going pretty well. You might want to consider calling more of the players up than making some moves then. It changes the way you view things if you develop faster than you think you will. So I think, and that's happened to teams before. It's happened to teams that they turn it around quicker than they expect. And then you turn into a buyer's market team rather than a team that was going to be waiting for players to develop. Now you're thinking of trading some of those players to get somebody at the deadline or something like that because you're in a playoff hunt. Doesn't mean we give up on talent. It's just that we know which ones are making headway with us and seems like it's going to be a good fit for our team and which ones aren't. So I would trust Steve Eiserman in that position. I think he's going to stay patient. But I think that if they go that route and they are in contention for a playoff spot, you can only grow when you have a young team like that. Making the playoffs is the first step.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you guys. I'm about small successes. Like, you don't rest on your small successes. You build off of your small successes. This wouldn't be a big success. It would be a small success. But I'm always about having something to build off of. And I think this would be a great thing for players like Larkin, assuming he's here for a second longer, assuming Mantha's here for a while longer. I think it's good for those guys to have that success to build off of. Now, like I said, it's not something you want to rest on. It's something you want to build off of. Like getting to the Stanley Cup Finals, that's something to build off of. You don't we made it there, so we're good. No, you build off of it. And with making the playoffs, like I keep saying the word build off of, but that's what I'm all about is building off of the little things. But yeah, does anyone else have anything to add to this? I think we're kind of all on the same page with this topic, but does anyone else have anything to add?
No, I'm good.
All right, we're good.
Chris Kaba or Kaba, I hope I'm saying it right. He's asking what the NHL cap is right now. Been a bit since he's checked it, and also where we stand for the Wings salary cap situation.
I don't know. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't know.
The salary cap, it is going down. I don't know the exact number. I want to say it's between 70 and 80 million is what it's at right now. And as far as where the Red Wings are in their cap, they're actually in very good cap shape last time I checked. But yeah, if anybody else has any questions, start dropping them because I think we're going to get close to shutting this down. But yeah, no, we're in good cap space situation right now, and the cap don't quote me on this. I'd have to redouble check it, but I want to say it's between 70 to 80 million is what's going to be for at least a second. And we're going to have a flat cap for, like, it's not going to go up or down for a second until we get through this pandemic. But yeah. But yeah, does anyone else have anything to add to that, or?
No, because I don't know what the cap numbers are. I do know it's going to be a flat cap, but I don't have those numbers in front of me. I could look it up if you really wanted me
to. Yeah, I don't think we need. I think we're good, but honestly, I don't see any questions. So I think. Does anyone else want to say anything different, or should we just go ahead and go on to final words?
Okay, so I have this off a cap friendly. Red Wings have a 79 million cap hit. Their final cap space is 1 million. I guess that makes no sense.
I think that's for this year. Are you looking at for this year?
Yeah, I believe I am. If that's the case, we're in terrible cap situation.
I just remember I watched a hockey guy's video, and he said that we're in good cap space. I feel like that's for this year. But
yeah, it's possible. I have no idea about next year.
All right.
I tried to look it up. Sorry, guys. I'll have that information for you.
Honestly, we might honestly talk about, we might talk about it a little more next week, but we'll see what happens. But I am.
Oh, so we have 13 million left on our cap space right now. Our goaltenders take 7 million, and our defensemen take 9 million. No surprise there. The forwards take 35 million. And we're not too bad off then. We got 13 million left to spend if we wanted to.
I found it. It says the projected cap space for the 2020-2021 season. Our projected cap hit for the 2020-2021 season is $45,364,999, and our projected cap space is $36,135,001.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I know, considering everything. But yeah, honestly, I think. Does anyone else have anything to add, or do you think we can go on to final words? Because
I'm good.
All right.
Does anybody have any questions in the chat first, besides the cap?
I haven't seen any for yet.
Just making sure everybody can get their questions answered before we go.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody? Okay.
All right.
Final thoughts, guys.
All right. Seth, want to give your final words real quickly?
Well, thank you again for having me on to talk some Red Wings hockey. We'll do it again next week at the same offsides time, same offsides virtual building offsides place. I'm trying to be like Batman, the Batman series 60s, but I'm messing that up pretty bad. Sounded better in my head, but next week. Oh, and also, if you haven't already, please feel free to check on DetroitSportsAlliance.com for the latest of my Red Wings anthology, where I look back at the 1984-85 season where John O'Grotnick scored 55 goals. So be sure to check that out and be back with us next week for some more hockey, Red Wings hockey. You heard it from me, Seth Walker.
There's a question. It's Chris Kabah, and he says, do we got any good stud defensemen in the pipes for the future? And that is a definite yes. Mort Seider is the guy that is probably going to come up next year. We have quite a few people that are coming up. I don't have the names in front of me anymore because I thought we were getting done with the show. But yeah, I think we drafted like 5 defensemen. And I think that we're gonna have a lot of good defensemen coming in the pipeline. We do have quite a few right now. Johansson's the one that I kind of like over in Sweden. There's a couple other ones too that are really good. You're just gonna have to wait and see how they develop because it's a 2 to 3 year process for these players a lot of times. Will we see any hockey on regular television? I think we're already seeing hockey on regular television because I just saw. It was Pittsburgh and somebody yesterday.
Canadians knocked off the Penguins.
Yes. Yes, and that was yesterday. We're in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, guys. So yep, they are having hockey on TV.
NBC Sports Network and USA are the channels that I've seen do
right.
NHL.
Yep. NBC Sports. I remember those. All righty. I'll give my final thoughts. I think that I really appreciate you guys in the chat with me for the first thing, because you guys put a lot of work into this show, and we all do our best to bring you past, present, and future Red Wings news and rumors and all that stuff. So I just want to say I appreciate you, PD, and you, Seth. Also, I want to shout out to the chat and Chris, and you can call me Funk, and Silver and Blue and Silver fan. Thank you for joining us today. Tell a friend, let people know about the show. There's not many people who know, because we just started this not too long ago. So we're trying to build a following. People that love Red Wings hockey and want to talk Red Wings with us, let us know. Let your people know so they can watch the show too. Appreciate every single person, and that's helped us out to get us to this point. So that's my final thoughts. Thank you, everybody.
Blue and Silver Phantom has said, I meant far as Red Wings next year. Probably, I would assume so, but we'll see what happens. Like, I don't know what they're going to do at the stadiums by the time the next NHL season starts, but I would assume they're going to broadcast them, and it'll be on Fox Sports Detroit, and we'll probably get some primetime games like on NBC from time to time, because we're the Red Wings. We got plenty of primetime games this year, surprisingly. Like the Bruins game where I watched them win 3-1 was a primetime game. But, I assume they will. But, thank you, everyone, for coming in. As always, thank you to Jim and Seth for putting in the hard work. Thanks to everyone in the DSA for putting in the hard work. Now, I want to say this stream is broadcasting on 2 channels. It's broadcasting on the Detroit Sports Alliance channel, and it's broadcasting on my channel right now. We are going to be we're going to eventually try to shift everything over to the Detroit Sports Alliance channel, so it's not alternating between me and Jim every week. It's not going to happen immediately. We're going to make sure everyone knows where to check things out by that time, but we are eventually going to get everything moved, all of our live streams moved over to the Detroit Sports Alliance channel. And also, be sure to tune into Above the Rim tonight. It's either going to be on Detroit Drews or it's going to be on JMO's channel. I don't know which one off the top of my head it's going to be on, but it will be there. So make sure you tune into that as well. And make sure you tune into the roundtable. And, of course, if you know any Tigers fans that want to talk some Tigers and start a Tigers show up, we're open for that too. And if you know anyone that wants to talk Red Wings with us, let us know. And we would be glad to check it out and bring them in to this show. But, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We're going to keep trying to grow this as always. And, thank you all for tuning in. And with that, we are out.